Hey folks, Fred Bernardo, the Smoking Guitar Player. It's New Year's Eve 2013. That means tomorrow it's going to be 2014. Pretty wild, huh? But anyway, on New Year's Day, my family eats pork and sauerkraut. That's what they call it around here, pork and sauerkraut. But anyway, so I'm going to cook the pork. I got a nice, beautiful picnic roast in there, and also a Boston butt. And I'm going to take them and I'm going to put them on my egg. I'm not going to put much smoke. I'm going to put traditional seasoning, like I'll use my savory poultry or one of those. We're going to put it in the egg. We're going to cook it all night, real low and slow, and it'll be beautiful for tomorrow for the whole family to have with their sauerkraut. So I'm going to show you. We're going to get the egg started right now, and we're going to follow this. Okay? And here it is. My Krusty, Trusty, large, big green egg that Mrs. Smoking Guitar Player bought me, those many years ago. So I think I'll get it started. Let's see what it looks like. Oh no! The sumbitch is frozen shut! So folks, that's right. That sumbitch is frozen shut. It's 19 degrees out here, and I need to cook, and that is frozen shut. Now, let me tell you something. You're going to have this happen to you. It happens. That's nothing you can do about it. It happens to all of us. But what all of us do eventually is keep pulling on it till we yank it open, or some of the more inventive people get a knife and stick it in there and cut it open. And then, what really creative people do is they heat the knife up like a hot butter knife, and they try and wedge it in there and get it open. Okay? And let me see, what else do they do? They pretty much just yank on it. And what's going to happen is no matter which one of them you do, you're going to wreck that gasket. If you got a nice new Nomex gasket in there, they tend to be more absorbent, and that's when they absorb some water and freeze. You're going to wreck your brand new, really nice gasket, or even your old gasket. And then you're going to have to come to my website, tastylicksbbq.com, and get yourself a nice new super ceramics Nomex gasket. So actually, what I'm going to tell you to do is how to get this open. So I'm actually costing myself a sale. Can you believe that? But I know you'll buy something else. So here's the deal. She's a frozen shut. So what we got to do is we got to warm it up. That's all. Now there's a couple different ways of doing it. And I'm going to show you what I like to do. One way is you can open up your finger down here and take your starter cube and put it in there, or take 27 of these starter cubes and put them in there, or some charcoal in this and build a fire. That's one way. Another way, I happen to have a charcoal chimney anyway. I put some charcoal in there, and I can put some newspaper under here and light it, but I ain't got no newspaper. So I'm just going to use one of these, and what I do is, look here. When you light a charcoal chimney, you don't want to do it on your patio. It'll crack your concrete. So I'm going to hold this starter cube up between these two fire bricks. I got my pizza stone under here. Watch close. Don't blink. I'm going to light this. I'm going to make sure it's lit. And I'm going to put this chimney on top of here. Now in about 10 or 15 minutes, this thing is going to be honking. And I'm going to come out here and I'm going to put those charcoal down there. Yes, I'm going to have to clean it up later, but it's probably a mess in there from the last time I cooked anyway. But it'll get it open without wrecking my gasket. Now, how am I going to get them in there? Well, I could just use my fingers, but then I'm going to have some really burnt fingers. I'll have to go to the hospital. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tongies. I'm going to take them and put them in there. Like this here. But they're going to be screaming hot. Like that. Now, I sometimes get impatient and to try dumping the whole thing in there, in which case hot charcoal goes all over the place. Now, it doesn't matter much out here, except then the dog tries to eat it and burns her tongue. Because she's waiting for her charcoal. She loves charcoal.
Lilly. Yum.
She loves to eat charcoal, but she ain't quite smart enough to know when it's screaming hot not to eat it. So I'm going to try and do them one at a time. You can see it's starting to smoke already. That's going to be screaming in about 15 minutes. Now, I can also put them down there. Frankly, if I had a hairdryer, I could probably put a hairdryer down in here or under there. Or a Luft lighter. I could put my Luft lighter in. Anything to get this hot. But this is the way I like to do it. So we're going to come back in about 10 minutes. We're going to show you what we do to get it open. So folks, as you can see, this thing is screaming hot and it's windy, so I gotta be careful. I got my heavy glove on here. I'm gonna try and grab some of these hot pieces and put them, whoa! Do that a little bit. Watch yourself there, camera lady. Get some of these screaming hot chunks. Put them in there, being careful not to burn myself.
Or your wife.
Not to let too many get in the ground because the dog probably wants some. What the heck. This is what always happens in the end. Now let me just tell you. Make sure you're on fire bricks here. Don't put that on your patio or that'll crack your patio. Now we can open the door at the bottom and we got a nice ventilation. And this temperature is going to come up real fast. Matter of fact, it's approaching 150 already. I'm going to put this top one here just like this, just to hold some of the heat in until it gets going. And in a couple minutes, we'll come back out, and she's going to open right up. Okay? We'll give her about 15. Okay, folks, it has been 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And Lily the Smoking Retriever is getting hungry for some charcoal, but I didn't drop any for her to eat. Now, as you see, this is saying 275 degrees. I got my top one like this to let it breathe. I got the bottom open. Now you might say, why did you put your daisy wheel fancy cast iron top on here? Well, I didn't do that because it's inside there, frozen inside the egg. So I used this, and it was just to kind of hold the heat into the dome. And I can see water running down here. I mean, and here you go. And that's how it's done. Now, yes, I have a mess to clean up. There's my drip pan from my brisket yesterday, but it's a lot better than wrecking your gasket. So there's my daisy wheel. And what I'll do is I'll give this a couple of minutes, or I can pick them out if I have to and put them back in the old chimney. So I'm not really worried about them. I'm going to let them burn away for a couple minutes, and that'll be nice, and everything will be done. Just don't get them on your gasket now, or they'll burn your gasket. You can see the gasket's wet around the edges here. Camera first.
Look at
it,
Lilly.
Camera first, and you can see there's a little moisture around the edges. See, moisture gets into the gasket, and then that's when she freezes shut. If you pull it open, it tears it off. So that's the easy way to do it. And there you go. You're going to be all ready. I'm going to be all ready to cook my pork butt on tonight. So Happy New Year!